All right, welcome back, you guys, to the Happily Living podcast. It's your host, Gabby, and this is Iz Vaughan. It is such a pleasure to have you on the Happily Living podcast. You and I,
Thank
like I
you.
said, have been trying to make this happen for so long,
Mm-hmm.
and it genuinely makes me so happy that we finally got it to come together. For those of you who don't know, she is located in Australia,
Yep.
so it's 4 p.m. there. Oh.
It's
What time is it there?
12.
12.
Noon.
It's 12. It's 12 p.m. there, and it's 8 p.m. here. So we're truly meeting in the middle today. For those also who don't know who she is an incredibly talented, eco-conscious artist whose work not only speaks for itself creatively, but also inspires others to leave a more positive impact on the planet. And it's truly a double whammy because she's incredible at what she does, but she's also deeply intentional. And I just honestly, you know what? Someone put a ring on that girl because they would be very lucky. Let me just tell you.
Yeah,
And
hopefully.
one of the coolest things that I've seen on your page is that you've created an incredible course guide called Become an Eco-Conscious Artist. And
Yeah.
I could not be more excited to talk to you about it today.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, no, it's become an earning eco-conscious artist. So we're not even just being eco-conscious because it's all well and good being
Right.
eco-conscious and sustainable, but like we have to survive, and all I want is for people to be able to achieve their dreams. And I am currently living mine, and I want to be able to boost people up as much as I can. And I definitely had some pitfalls and some hurdles along the way, and I just don't want other people to go through that. I wasted so much time, so much money, and I just think, well, I understand it. Why not let people understand as well?
Yeah, the gatekeep isn't there, right?
No, God, no.
So let's start from the beginning. When did you start your journey into becoming an artist?
So it's funny because I've spoken about this a little bit before, but I think I kind of got tricked into taking art as a GCSE in like our high school in the UK, because I'm originally from the UK. We take something called GCSEs, which is something that you would take when you're in like grade 10 and 11. My partner's American, so I can kind of like decompartmentalize where our lives grew into each other and how
it's very different.
Yeah, and how it kind of like translates into his experience with the world. So when you're in like grade 10, you choose subjects to be able to take tests on after 2 years. And my art teacher at the time, I think he just needed more students because we had like a parents' evening, and my parents sat down and he was like, Isabel is like such a great student, an incredible artist. My parents were just sat there. Because I'm a musician, right, at heart. Like music was my thing. And I started to learn the drums when I was like really young, and then it just kind of transpired into other instruments. And so it kind of just came out of the blue. And my parents were like, oh, okay. And I kind of turned to my parents afterwards and I was like, I don't know, I guess that would be fun. Like I was going to take drama and art anyway, drama and music anyway. So I was just like, cool, like another creative subject. If they'll let me, I'll do it. And then I was always finding creative ways of bringing that into my world. And it mainly came out as like baking when I was a kid.
Okay.
And doing like crazy cakes. I remember for my brother's 16th birthday, I made him a guitar-shaped cake because we're both guitarists. And
oh my gosh. That's
and then
awesome.
For his 18th birthday, whilst I'd then like graduated from the GCSE, and I decided to take art as an A level, which would class as your kind of like community college.
Okay.
So in the UK, people either go to college, like a community college, or they can stay at school for another 2 years and do something called sixth form, which is where you get other like degrees, if you would. So
okay.
I took drama, art and music and psychology just to make people feel like I was doing something smart, and then immediately dropped psychology the second that they allowed me to do it. And the second that my timetable came out, I was like, dropping psychology.
You're like, peace.
Exactly. And so I was already exploring a lot of art through school, which was amazing. It really made my school experience so much better. I did not enjoy school my entire time I was there from a really young age. And then I kind of discovered this creative side of myself, and it made it a lot more bearable. I guess then my brother was turning 18 and he loved Guns N' Roses and Slash. I did a decided I'd never done a portrait before, but I decided I'm just going to go for it. And I did a meter by meter full like chest up portrait of Slash. And genuinely, it's still one of my best pieces.
My
And
gosh.
I was 16 and I was like, I'm pretty good at this.
Yeah, you like might as well keep on it.
Yeah, and like it was genuinely, it wasn't something that I will always be proud of that piece, not just because it was like my first piece. It is very skilled and, you know, and I'm usually a very humble person, but like it is like it's an incredible piece of art and I'm very,
Yeah.
very proud of it. And so it kind of just snowballed from there. I really stopped. Basically, I got the mick taken out of me because it would take me so long to paint these portraits by my family. Bless them. I have the most supportive family, but they do love to take the mick a little bit. So they were like, oh, it just takes you so long. So I kind of just stopped doing portraiture until the one that I'm currently doing. So that's been like almost like 11 years since I've touched hyper realistic portraiture. And I'm surprised that I can still
Yeah.
do it, but I can. But I guess that just shows like I've never stopped doing art. I've just gone down different avenues and explored different things. So
Yeah.
I guess that's built up skill still, even though it wasn't in that realm. Like I was still able to take everything that I'd learned and it had translated into portraiture, which is
That's really incredible.
yeah, it
You don't
feels
hear
like
that very often.
yeah, it doesn't feel like I'm starting from zero, which is what I thought I would. I like when I decided to do this piece, I thought like, oh, I'm gonna start from zero again. But that's not been the case, which has been so I'm so grateful because
We love
like
that.
yeah, and also because like I have a few more people looking at my Instagram page now that it's just like it's not as much pressure now that I know that I can actually do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. So do you remember a moment when art shifted from like just coming from that creative flow into something more intentional, like deciding which path you wanted? Or is it because it sounds like it's still whatever you feel in that moment is kind of like where you're going?
Yeah, it definitely I call myself an exploration artist. I never want to feel kind of
Tied
trapped.
down.
Yeah,
Yeah,
in anything in my life. I'm surprised I've had a partner for almost 3 years. Honestly, I
I
feel
get you.
I'm not I'm not somebody to like to feel like honed in on one thing.
Yeah.
So within my art, you know, there's been times where I've done pottery. Like I have a potter's wheel back at home in the UK, which we're moving back in September. So I'm excited to grab
That's
that
exciting.
because I'm so like
Yeah.
so needing that. But I think when it kind of became like I've always just wanted to be an artist. And when we moved over to Aussie, which was this time last year, I you know, my partner was able to work. We both are able to work over here. And so he kind of just said to me, look, because it's been a while since we've been able to do that. We've kind of been like either in each other's countries or whatever, like one of us working, one of us just on a tourist visa. I'm just
Yeah.
visiting. So we're here and able to both work. And he was like, okay, you can get a part-time job, but like you need to focus on your art. Because there was just this like longing of like, I just feel like I'm bound for something bigger.
Mm.
And it kind of started about this time last year where I was just like, right, I'm going to just start focusing on painting more. And then we did a snow season from June to September of this year here in Australia, which people can't believe that there's snow and mountains in Australia, but there is. And, you know, we had an amazing time. I carried on painting, but it was definitely on the back foot because when you're doing a season, you are full time there. And we were living in a snowbound village. So, like, I was just at work all the time. But it gave me some incredible opportunities. I was able to progress my snowboarding so much that I became a snowboard instructor, and all of this stuff. So like,
Wow.
yeah, it really brought some amazing opportunities while still being able to paint a little bit on the side. And I was still making content and everything. So I saved up like my last 2 paychecks and I said to my partner, like, when we leave, I am going to knuckle down and I'm going to start making my own prints and I'm going to give myself 30 days to become a full-time artist. And that 30 days just kind of never ended.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
incredible.
Yeah. I kind of just was like, gonna do markets. I'm gonna put all of like, not all of my money, but well, yeah, it was most of my money into
Right.
into it. I just kind of had to commit and like pull the bandage off. Then I think it was maybe like 5, 6 days after that like period of the 30 days was up, and I had like my first viral video. And then it kind of just was like, that video is now at, I don't know, like 500,000 views. And then I did another one straight after that's at 600. And then the one after that's at 2.5 million. So
Okay,
it was just like, I think this is what's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
And I do my affirmations every morning. I speak to the universe. I speak to myself. I do my manifestations, and I don't like, there is something in that. Like, I don't think it's a coincidence that, okay, I
Yeah.
put my head down, but I was putting my head down when I was like, okay, I'm going to be like a full-time artist for 30 days. But
Yeah.
then when I kind of started those affirmations within that time. And then when I started to like truly believe it, everything just started to snowball.
Fall into place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just like, there are some days where I like forget because like my partner and I have gotten up and we've done yoga, and then we've gone surfing, and then we've gone to the shop. And, like we very
Yeah.
much like to fill the first part of our day with activities, because, if you start your day with you looking at your phone, like it's only going to go downhill from there. So like
Yeah.
we like really try and be intentional with our time, like especially that first hour in the morning, even if it's just getting up, making the bed, having a cup of tea. So with that, like sometimes I forget to do my affirmations, and then I can really feel it in that day. Like I feel like something's a bit off, like I'm doubting
Yeah.
myself, or like I feel like
Mhm.
things aren't flowing as naturally. I was
Yeah.
raised Christian and I've moved away from that faith, but I've definitely still kept that spirituality. That's something that's like really, that was kind of the turning point when it comes to me being an artist, is that
Yeah.
manifestation and it completely showing that it
You know
works.
what's so interesting about that is that when I went through my breakthrough, like changing who I was and like finding myself and like manifesting all the things that I wanted and it just all came, was like the beginning of my journal journey
Mhm.
in 2023 or something. And then, like you said, like I was also grown up in a Christian household. And so, like, at that point, like it was kind of going away from that because I don't really know. It's like you just more so focus on like feeling that everything is there already and that gratitude. So it's not
Mm.
like you're losing it, but it's just like a separate vine that's still
Yeah.
connected. I don't know how to
Yeah.
explain it.
Rather
Mm,
praying for like a want, you're understanding that it's already within, I think.
Yes. Yes, that's so beautifully said. Yes, exactly. So it's like then when more recently, when I got back closer to my faith, it's not that I didn't feel like a lot of blessings still came, but I noticed a huge difference
Mm,
in who I was then with the affirmations and all the things that came and how I held myself versus now.
mm.
So it's like definitely for me trying to find that middle because I know that they're somehow connected for me.
Yeah.
But like I see exactly what you're talking about. It's like that huge change with affirmations and manifestations. And I love that period of my life. I really
Yeah.
do. Without getting too sidetracked, when did you begin your journey into becoming more, and maybe not more, just like spreading awareness on the eco conscious creativity side?
Genuinely about 3 months ago. It
Okay.
really wasn't. I had my own things in my own practice that
Hmm.
I did to make myself feel better, because being eco-conscious is very much about helping the planet, but it does also remove a bit of guilt, which
Yeah.
we all hopefully, unfortunately,
Yeah.
hopefully we do live with it a little bit,
Yeah.
like it's our planet,
Yeah.
but I had always had my little ways of doing things, and I didn't really think that, the internet would care so much about it. I kind of really wanted to be like the person just known for my art specifically. And then I
Mhm.
saw a video, and this woman, she, did a similar video about the way that she sorts through her brushes and her wasted acrylic paint. And it was very much like one very chunky video that was like, this is plastic, so this is what I do, and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, that's exactly what I do. And I saw that people were engaging with that. And I was like, maybe I could take some of the things that I already do and make it into a series. So when I did my first eco-conscious artist episode, I said, I'm doing a mini series called Eco Conscious Artist. And I had no idea that mini series would turn into something that has gained me almost 50,000 followers. It was insane. So like,
Yeah, that's
even though I've
amazing.
always had those practices within my work, this has now pushed me to find out even more, and it's pushed me to search through different things. People suggest things to me all the time, which I'm so grateful for, because through that I have found a community of people who care. I feel more connected to people now more than ever, and also it then gives
Mhm.
me inspiration. The people who comment on my stuff, they inspire me so much, and I'm so grateful for them. They're the reason why I keep going, is because people are so into it, and they give me suggestions and tell me, okay, well, you could have done this. And then I'm like, that's a great idea. I'm going to explore that and see whether that works. And okay, maybe I'll make a video on it.
Yeah.
So it's been very much a quick turnaround for me within the like pushing it out there. But in my own practice, it's always kind of been the case.
Excuse me, you said 50,000 followers?
Yeah. Yeah. I think I'm
That's
at,
incredible.
on Instagram, I'm at like 40, almost 48. And then on TikTok, I'm on like almost, I think, 6,500. So yeah, I've already reached that along the platforms. But yeah, Instagram went crazy. I gained like 30,000 followers in 30 days.
So the funniest thing is that's how I found you.
There we
Was
go.
through one of those mini guides,
Yeah.
because I saw that and I was like, I literally have done that with my house. Like, this wall didn't used to be here, and like painting and renovations and stuff. And like, I'm always trying to find like better ways to not contribute negatively to the planet just by living. And we have like paint buckets outside because I saw someone, like, instead of putting the paint water down the regular drain, like trying to use like lime and do all these things, and then you pH balance it and whatnot.
Hmm.
And I just like resonated so much with what you were saying, because it was on a creative scale and it was something that is, for me, I've never been seen before.
Mm.
And it's like, this is what artists can do if they care, like
Yeah.
hopefully a lot of people care, but like, this is a really great way for generations to start thinking about how we make an impact. And like, in the beginning, things that we don't do on a day-to-day basis aren't going to be easy. But once you make it a habit, it's just so natural for you to do.
Yeah.
And I just love how you made that as a guide, because that makes it easier to follow, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, I think it's interesting you saying that, actually, because I obviously get, I'm so blessed with the amount of people who just tell me how much this helps them and stuff. But obviously you do
Yeah.
have the other side of people being like, oh, well, like this isn't gonna help, and like, well, Taylor Swift goes on her plane for a 10-minute ride. Like, I don't care. Like, and it's like,
I
no,
know.
okay, fine. Like, that might, you individually may not think that you're making a difference, but I now have 50,000 people doing that. So actually,
Yeah.
if it was just a couple of hundred people, that would still be amazing. Like, you cannot underestimate your own impact. Like, there is a saying in the UK, and it's not relevant to this, but look after the penny and the pounds will look after themselves, right? You look after the small things and the bigger things will conspire, like, will just do it themselves.
Take care of itself.
Exactly.
Okay.
And I think that
Yeah.
that's the same with this. So it's really interesting, and it's really nice because a video will be out for a few days and I'll reply to some of the comments, because usually the first people to comment are my followers and they want more tips, or they have a question or whatever. So I'll always,
Yeah.
but then it gets to a point where it's like, I can't keep up with this, but I'll like have
Yeah.
a comment pop up and it'll like intrigue me, and I don't ever read the bad comments, but one will come up and I'll be like, oh, let's have a look. And before I've even read the full thing, there's 5 of my followers who have already backed me up, and they're coming to my defense. And I just think that is so incredible. Like, I don't even have friends that would do that, like, I'm so appreciative of the people who I don't even know saying, well, no, but she's trying, you know, she's trying to make an impact. And
Yeah.
I guess, like, I am,
Yeah.
I'm making that impact, and it shows that people care with the amount of followers that I have now gained. Appreciative of those followers, not because it makes me seem cool that I have all these followers. It's because I now have 50,000 people that I can say, like, okay, if we all just do this, that's going to be a huge impact, and like
Yeah.
5 million people saw one of the videos about me throwing paint down the drain and not doing it, if like even half of those people took that on themselves and was like, oh yeah, okay, I'll make sure I don't do that, that's a lot of people, you know? So like when
Yeah.
people comment that kind of stuff, like, oh well, you know, I can't believe you're blaming like single artists who are just like trying to have a nice time, blah blah blah. It's like, well, first of all, I'm not blaming anybody. Like it's, you know, I'm one of them. You know, like I'm an artist who's
Right.
trying to make a better impact and I still mess up.
Yeah.
But it's obviously not something that's irrelevant because people have connected with it, you know?
And I just, when there's those people that come, like, for any post that I have, clearly from the happily living, I have a specific feed on environmentalism or whatever. And I'll look at the comments sometimes. I don't know for what reason, but I think for specific
Mm,
things. And you'll see a lot of hatred in certain things, and then you'll see people back them up, and it's nice. But you notice from our perspective, being aware of the impact we have and the wellness of the planet currently, it can get really depressing at times.
yeah.
And you can feel really overwhelmed and you can feel really helpless. And then, like I have a ton of friends that are in the business realm. So they have no idea what I'm talking about. They never heard of people not wanting to have kids and blah, 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 blah. Like they've never heard of
Mm,
that. And so it's the two different awarenesses and then just trying to meet people in the middle to say, hey, we're all on the same page. We're all trying to do our best out here. I get that you may feel like Taylor Swift doing one jet plane ride is going to prevent all of this. But at the same time, she also wore an otter shirt and somehow raised millions of dollars for this aquarium. So things balance out. And like you said, I also don't believe in coincidences. Everything happens for a reason. Sometimes things suck. Sometimes things are great. But just kind of keep her head up,
mm,
like
yeah.
it's hard to get people to know that.
Yeah, it's hard. We get bogged down as well in the state of the world, and we feel very helpless as humans, especially humans who
Mhm.
aren't within any type of power. So I think it's very easy to shift the blame and for people to blame other people and not take any accountability of ourselves. And I
Yeah.
think it's, you know, it's good to be aware of those corporations so we can kind of either stop using their products or whatever, but
Yeah.
it's also time for everybody just to take accountability. Yeah, there was a video, a comment, and that guy was like, you know, whatever, we're all gonna die or something. I don't know. People write
Yeah, like he
ridiculous
was just
things.
really
Yeah, and
down.
it's just
Yeah.
like, you know, but can't we just try?
Yeah.
That isn't that just easy? It takes like 5 minutes out of your day, and actually it's less time out of my day a lot of the time. A lot of my tips and stuff kind of like skirt around things that you would actually have to do. I
Yeah.
Rather than throwing out my paint water now, I just chuck either like a piece of rag or like a used cloth or something in there, and I just let it sit overnight. It's literally like a 1 second thing and you don't really think about it. And once you've done it a couple of times, it becomes very natural, you know, like anything, any habit or anything that is within your consciousness. Once you
Yeah.
start doing it a couple of times, it then just becomes routine and you don't really think about it, you know?
Yeah, you don't get upset about
Yeah,
it.
like, and, you know, I'm a sober vegan and everybody always asks me, that must be so hard. And it's like, well, at the beginning, maybe, yeah, but it's been
The
so
beginning,
long
yeah.
that it's actually like, you just
You found your foundational staples
don't even
and
think about
you
it.
know what you
Yeah,
like.
it's
Yeah.
like moving to a country that wouldn't have milk, you know, like
Yeah.
you deal, you know, you'd deal
Yeah.
with it and you'd learn a way around it. And then after 2 years, you'd forget that milk even existed, you know?
Yeah. And I feel like that really resonates with, you either can just be upset all the time because you don't have milk, or you
Yeah.
pivot and you find a way to make yourself happy, just like
Get some
anything
almonds
else.
and chuck them in a blender with some water. Like, it's not that hard.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's not that hard.
So, speaking of the sustainability
Mhm.
community that you have
Yeah.
created, what is something that you have really put your heart and soul in, or something that's just really energized you? that you've created
My course.
on your platform.
My course.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, it's sick.
Yeah, I didn't really realize, like, how much I was loving it until I went to edit it, and I was
Yeah.
just beaming from ear to ear, and that wasn't some kind of, like, fake, like, "Oh, I've gotta be happy and try and, like, make sure that people are, like, still engaged." I was just so stoked the entire time, like,
Yeah.
it's come from a really genuine place, and I think that's really hard to find sometimes on the internet, especially when somebody has to, like, pay for it. I've tried to make
Mhm.
that as suitable for everybody, and, you know,
Yeah.
it's a one-time payment. I've done courses before where at the end they're like, this already helps, but actually you won't be able to achieve this unless you buy this extra guide, which will, you know, there's
Yeah.
always something, or there's always something that they try and push. You know, the only extra thing that you can get on my course is a one-on-one feedback with me, which I think, you know, you don't need it. The course is complete on
Yeah.
its own, but if you just needed that little bit extra help, I want to help, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's coming from a place of I think the world would be a lot happier if people made more art and did things that they wanted to do and kind of didn't feel like they couldn't pursue their dreams. And, you know, money is such a huge thing, isn't it? It's like the number one thing in the world that everybody worries about. So if we can, you know, take people's
Yeah.
dreams and get them to make money from it, I think that the world would be such a nicer place. And that's, for me,
Yeah.
this course is one step closer to kind of getting that. Whereas we're never going to have like a perfectly peaceful or happy world as long as men are running it. But I think it's definitely going to be a better place if somebody's always wanted to be an artist and then they find a way where they can be eco-conscious and they can make money. Because the thing is that even if you didn't want to be an eco-conscious artist, this course is still good for you to find out how to actually become, you know, an artist who makes their
A
own
good artist.
prints
Yeah.
and kind of navigates you through how to get from you've made a piece to like somebody buying it. Like there's eight steps, you know, 8 lessons with bonus lessons, templates. Like I give you templates for like certificates of authenticity, so like making your work looking like really, you know, professional um and just that kind of like appearance as well of like, okay, if you're going to be taken seriously as an artist, these are the kinds of things that you need to do. And I'm not gatekeeping that. Here is exactly what I use. You know, this is what I made,
Yeah.
and there you go. And then I think after I was editing it and I published it and I got that first sale, I was just like, somebody believes in me as much as I believe in this course, which is like, it was
Oh.
just such an incredible feeling. And I think I'll always be humbled by somebody wanting to take my advice. And I think that's been the thing that I've taken out of all of this, out of the virality and all of that stuff, is that I feel so incredibly honored that people trust me to provide them with some kind of information. So yeah, so I'm most proud of the course, definitely creatively, but I'm also most proud of that people trust me. Like that's such a beautiful thing to have.
Yeah. Ben was telling me my well, I guess this is the first time I'm gonna say this. My fiance.
Congrats! Wow!
Thank you. Thank you. So my fiance was telling me, he was like, what do you want out of the happily
Mhm.
living? Like, what is your goal? And for me, I created a podcast during my affirmative manifesting phase, which I'm trying to get back into. But during that time, but just came, right? Like the conscious guide. I had not seen it coming, but it was just something that if just one person could change the way they do one thing in their
Mhm.
life, that would make me incredibly
Yeah.
happy because we have such a huge impact. If we have such a huge negative impact on the planet, there is just as much room to make that flipped and be
Mhm.
positive,
Yeah.
you know? And so just having one person, even one person listen to the podcast or even one person purchase your conscious guide, I get exactly where
Yeah.
you're coming from. It's just like, oh my gosh,
I've done it.
someone wants to
Yeah.
listen to me. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
definitely.
That's
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah, it's
So,
so humbling, and so I can't even explain it. Like There is no words,
I
and there
can't
never will be. Like,
yeah,
I'll forever be eternally grateful. Like, no matter how many, whether I had 5 followers or 50 or 50,000 or 5 million, like, I think I'll
yeah.
never stray from that deep gratitude. And I think that comes from affirmation.
So, okay, that's what I was gonna ask you. Is that how you stay grounded and true to yourself through creating content in such a fast-moving online
It's
space?
hard.
Is
It's
yeah,
really hard to not get completely consumed by not only the pressure to perform, but then obviously the opinion of others and the judgment of others. I think that's why I
yeah,
focus so much on the positivity of the comments and stuff, because otherwise, you'd go down a very deep, dark hole very quickly. I think the beauty of
yeah,
it is that I care about what I'm talking about. This wasn't like a thing, this wasn't like a series that I started that was off the cuff and it was just like, oh, okay, maybe I could talk about this for 5 episodes. Like, I could talk about that forever. So I think that's really important, is that it came from a space of really caring. And then obviously my art keeps me very grounded. Art is very humbling a lot of the time. Even,
yeah,
even when you're a skilled artist. Not saying that I am, but well, no, I am. We'll own that. And
yeah,
being an artist of anything or creating anything, it's always a very humbling experience. So that definitely keeps me grounded. I definitely use my affirmations to big myself up, and because I can be quite self-doubting, so I use my
yeah,
affirmations to bring myself back to myself, not in a grounding way, but in a like, you can do this kind of way.
yeah, like a
Yeah,
uplifting.
yeah, yeah. Like, I am the universe's favorite person. Like, that's not really that grounded.
No, but I
Yeah,
love
but
that.
then things like meditation, yoga, also just the people that I surround myself with, my partner and my family, they will forever be the people that ground me the most, because I'm just them. I'm just me with them.
Yeah,
And no
yeah,
matter who I become, I think my family will always just see me as well. And thank God that she's actually doing
yeah.
something with her art. But like, I think, especially when it comes to like my grandparents and stuff, they don't fully get it. I don't think, like, they don't
Right, yeah.
fully
The
understand the
generational thing.
impact. Yeah. So like, I think been, um, I've been asked to appear in a magazine for the top 50 art influencers of 2025. I know. And which is like,
Period!
it's insane. But with that,
That's incredible.
but wait, so with that, because I am a part of that, I then get entered into a competition, which is just like an online competition with likes. Like, there's no need to pay or anything. So it's like legit. But I get put into a competition to get voted to be Art Influencer of the Year. And the number one prize is having a piece of your work at the Louvre in Paris. Like,
Is
it's like, yeah. It's
my
like, it's so into, and
gosh!
like I'm like, there's a part of me that's like, I'm never gonna get that. Like, I'm never gonna get that. But like, it's such an honor to be a part of that. But like, I could, like I'm in it. But like, I posted that on my family WhatsApp, and like, some people just liked it. Like, some people just like hearted it, and I'm like, yeah, humbling. Like, and my family are like, there's loads of us in the group chat, so like, and everyone's like, wow, that's so exciting and stuff. Like, my parents rang me straight away, and they were like, we're going to Paris. So like, it's, I think there's like the side of it that like
That's
everybody's so
amazing.
supportive, but also they're just like, of
Yeah.
course, like, why wouldn't you? Like, I'll do like a tiny piece of like section of like my painting right now, and like it'll have taken me all day, and I'm super proud of it. And like, my boyfriend will walk in, and he's like, yeah, of course it's good. You're a good painter. Like, of course it's good. But like, in my head, like, I'm expecting him to be like, wow, that's amazing. But like,
Yeah. Yeah. You worked all
yeah.
day on it. You need a little bit
Yeah, but like,
more.
in his
Yeah.
head, like, of course, like, you're an amazing artist. Like, him and my family definitely believe in me more than I do. So like, when I see that glimmer of like, oh, that's quite good, they're like, yeah. Like, sorry, where have you been? So that also keeps me humble, in the sense of like, it's kind of flipped. Like, it's humbling to know how much other people believe in me more than I do. So yeah, definitely like
Yeah.
my family.
It's just because you've gotten so far doesn't mean you still feel like that level,
Yeah, no, I
right?
don't think I'm there. I don't think I'm there. My family see that I'm there, but I'm still here. Like in my
Right.
brain, like
Exactly.
I'm still, a 15-year-old.
Just
Yeah,
starting.
like
Yeah.
just doesn't really have any friends. It's like my brother's my best mate. I like in my head, like that's still who I am. And because growing up,
Yeah.
it was mainly just like my brother and I. That we were a bit different, and now we're both
Yeah.
ridiculously successful within our own field. Like
Period.
he's a
Period.
front man of a band, and nobody would ever have thought that growing up with us. Like I was always the very much outgoing one, and now I've kind of like become this like recluse artist that kind of just like lives in their hole, and it's a bit eccentric. And then my brother's this just incredible front man, and it's kind of like, yeah, like that shows all of you, like who bullied him at school, or like who
Yeah.
just thought I was really weird at school and never wanted to be my friend, especially in like
Yeah.
lower years, like in primary school and stuff. Everyone thought I was so weird, and I was on a completely different wavelength to everyone. And so I think, throughout growing up, especially because there's only 2 years between my brother and I, we were very, very close. And I'm still kind of in that
That's
mentality
wonderful.
of like, I'm just still that kind of
Yeah, it's hard to
weird,
grow out of that.
weird person. And then like,
Yeah.
I see my boyfriend, and he's like, I'm just in awe of him all the time. And like, he's just like, in my head, he's just so cool. And like, especially when we're like doing snow seasons and stuff, he's a great snowboarder and stuff. And I'm just like, how did I do that? And then he's like, what are you talking about? Like, you've got all these followers now, and like people are finally seeing like what we all see. I just don't know. I just can't see it. But
Yeah.
maybe it'll come. But maybe that's also, maybe I don't want that to leave. Like, because I think all of this
Yeah.
I never want this to not feel incredible.
And I think, honestly, I have gotten that vibe from a lot of insane, incredible, authentic
Mm,
artists who, for instance, everyone knows Billie
mm,
Eilish. They all thought certain opinions of her as she was growing up, and she went through all these things, and to this day she still feels like that
yeah,
same person, but she's creating the things that people
yeah.
love the most. And I think it's that authenticity that really shines far out
Yeah,
from
her
everyone
mum actually
else.
follows me on Instagram.
Shut up.
I
That's
know.
incredible.
I know. That's like my biggest flex.
What are some tips for people who feel like they're on a good track, they're following their passion, their upbringing, whatever it is, but those days or those weeks when they get kind of mind boggled in either the feed or comments of other people or whatever, and just like their typical routine isn't working?
Get off your phone. Get off the ride. People aren't going to know.
Yeah.
One of my
Yeah.
favorite creators, I saw her story the other day, and she was like, I've been gone since Christmas. And I was like, wouldn't have even known. People, the beauty of social media is that you are a drop in the ocean. No one really cares. If they're there for the right reasons, they're going to understand that you just need a minute. And that's something that I definitely need to do more often, because I very much love being outside, or if I'm inside, like very intentional, listening to frequencies and starting my morning with meditation or yoga and stuff. And
Yeah.
I don't do that a lot now, because I have to keep pushing. Very much I'm very much a spiritual person, but I'm also very much understanding that I need to fulfill my full potential. And I am the only person that will do that. Nobody else is, no one else is going to pick up that paintbrush or that email for me. Like I want to
Yeah.
be putting my best foot forward all the time. And I'm very driven. And that's something that I've gotten from my parents. And, I'm forever grateful for that. But it's also a bit of a trait of mine that is a bit of a hindrance. I'm always trying to strive for more, and I have to sometimes take a step back and look. It sounds cheesy, but look how far I've come. And
Yeah.
my partner's really good at doing that. I think it's really important to have somebody, even if it's just a friend, that checks in on you and says, right, have you like put down your phone for 5 minutes today? And like he plans like these little things, and he'll say like, okay, like he'll plan it in like advance. So like next Monday you can't plan anything. And then like all week I'm excited and I'm thinking about that thing. And then he'll like, the last one he did, like he presented me with flowers that he like remade from So he like picked some flowers from the supermarket, and like he took them out of the wrapping, and he like rewrapped them in brown paper and bought ribbon, and like he printed off, he made like this Canva invitation to a date night. And like he's very aware that I need time, obviously, in the real world with him, and I need that too. And that's like the thing that I enjoy most in life, and it's one of the things that I do the least, because obviously like I'm always working. I think it's very important for people to understand that when somebody is following a passion, there is no link, there is no divide between work and who you are. I followed an artist for a really long time called Stella, and she's an incredible artist. And she put up a post because somebody asked her, like, how do you balance life and work? And you just don't. Not when you're a business owner, not when you are following a creative passion, podcasting, everything like that. It's always on your mind. I am always working. And that was something that I really had to explain to him in quite depth. He's a very logical person. He'll go from one thing and then he goes to the next. And if he's in that one thing, you can't talk to him about anything else. Like he's fully in tunnel vision on that one thing.
Focus. Yeah.
When I'm focused on one thing, I've also got 100 different things going on back here. And I think that's mainly because I do so many things. I've got my course, I've got my painting, I've then got emails that I have to reply to, I've then got my own podcast that I'm doing. Like, oh God, I haven't edited that in such a long time. And, and it just like, and then there's that book. Exactly. And people that I want to reach out to. And like, then like I'm reading a book and like all of these things. And then my partner and I, we have this thing where we read books together. So one of us will read to it'll be one book. So I read to him, or then he reads to me. It's very heavily. Like it's wholesome. Like we do
so
really wholesome things when we're together. So like it's very rare that we'll just sit in front of the telly. Like we have a van that we used to live in. So like she's still fully set up. So we'll go for a surf and then have breakfast in the van and like play cards. And like it's very rare that if we're spending one-on-one time together, there's a screen. So for me, that really pulls myself out of work mode, because like it would be an injustice to him if I was thinking about work. So I think my relationship is something that really keeps me out of that, and takes me away from all of that noise. So I think if you could find a person or even a hobby that takes you out of it, annoyingly, I try and always, my hobbies kind of snowball into becoming some kind of profession. But I think if you can find somebody or something that makes you not want to be thinking about work or about your screen because it would be an injustice to them or that situation, I think is really important.
Moment.
Really important.
I think so many of us, like this is what I've been doing recently. If I'm watching, like Ben will try to get me to watch One Piece with him. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Yeah,
it's a huge thing.
I've heard of it. My friend's a big One Piece guy.
Oh yeah. He has a tattoo. It's a whole thing. He's obsessed. He says he's not obsessed. He says he's a nerd.
Yeah.
But he he wanted me to watch it so bad with him. The passion for him behind it is similar to like what we believe, right? Like living the life, the dream that you always want and not feeling like you're tied down to anything. And so I gave it a try. But the thing I'm trying to do is whenever we're watching something together, or just for myself, not being on my phone, because I notice that I'm getting higher levels of dopamine. And so like regular day-to-day things, I'm so unsatisfied or so unfulfilled, or I'm just like meh, just because I'm having my phone looking at Pinterest while I'm watching this, and it's just like little things that everyone does. And like you said, just bringing yourself back to the present moment and just trying to get off the ride and get also off your phone,
I find it important as well when my partner believes in something or they are interested in something to give that my all. God, the amount of facts that I now know, which I don't care about. Like, not that I don't care about them. I now care because it brings me closer to them.
You wouldn't
Yeah,
do
like
it because
some of the stuff
yeah.
I do now is like, and some of the conversations we had, like I'll like say to him, like, if my mum could hear us now, she'd be like, what are you on? Like, I sound so intelligent. I now know. Like, he has broadened my mind so much, and I'm so much more, genuinely, I'm so much more intelligent now that I've been with him. And yeah, and
We
like,
love that though.
I now know that a cockatoo is actually a species of kingfisher bird, and it's the largest kingfisher bird. Yeah, that was our conversation this morning over breakfast. Yeah. Yeah. So
What?
like, and so
Wow.
the random facts that come out of that man's mouth, and I have to really like put my phone down and just be in it with him, because there's obviously a reason why he's telling me about it. Or like, I now know a lot of the Formula One drivers. I don't care. I don't care about cars, but now I do. And now, we'll go to Silverstone. Yeah.
Specifically
And
Formula
like
One.
for the first like 2 years ago, was it 2 years ago? Not this birthday just gone. He's born in October. Last October, we went to the
Okay.
Harry Potter Warner Brothers thing in London. Never seen it. Never seen it.
Yeah.
Can't stand it. Like, yeah, but I went and I was in it, and I was taking
Can't
photos, and
stand
I was
it.
like,
That
you
is
go
so
stand next to
funny.
that random eagle thing that you're super excited about. Like, because I think people find that with
Oh,
kids as
the
well. Like, you
support.
just have to find joy in the things that, and it brings so much more
Yeah.
joy to my life, because if I was just like, oh, like, I don't care, like, that would then make them feel disconnected to you. And it also, they're
Yeah.
gonna
That would
talk about it
crush
anyway,
him.
they're gonna care about it anyway. So like, if he cares about it, like, I care about
Yeah.
it. And I think that's really important, like having somebody or something that you care about enough to be like, all right, I'll listen to this.
Honestly, I never thought we'd go down this like
Mm,
discussion, but I'm so glad we did because I feel like so many people
mm,
need to hear these things. Just the simplicities of life and just enjoying
yeah,
it on a different level in ways that we
yeah,
can
it
all
all comes
do,
back to being intentional.
Exactly. What
Mm.
Okay, I have to ask you this. What are the affirmations or manifestations that you started out with? Like how did you gravitate towards that period of your life?
I saw it on a reel, obviously. Well, yeah, so
We
like,
all did, right?
I've always been very deep into meditation and spirituality. I started off my meditation journey just sitting down and listening to guided meditations. I've been kind of in and out of therapy or counseling from like 15, 16, as I had a school counselor and stuff. So like, I've always been quite self-aware of my anxieties and things. So it's always,
Yeah.
really been within my consciousness of like mental health and wellness. And my dad is on his own wellness
Yeah.
journey. He started off with Wim Hof and does a lot of ice baths, and he's just bought himself a new ice bath and now a sauna. So he kind of goes to the
That's
extremes.
awesome.
But that's something that I feel grateful that we've been able to bond over, is that we do have our own mental health struggles, and
Yeah.
we try to encourage each other to put that as a priority. Whereas my mum's just like steadfast and very much just like, I don't know how she does it. She deals with all of our ups and downs, and she runs. I mean, she runs like 7 to 10K every other day. So I think that's her kind of form of
Mm,
meditation. And
yeah.
I guess growing up, like going to the gym and stuff was mine. And then I love to swim as well. But I think I went down the meditation journey of like guided meditations. And then I found a book called The 6 Phase Meditation by Vishen Lakiani. And one Christmas, my mum bought me like 5 different things that I'd asked for. And it was like the Sad Guru book and the 6 Phase Meditation, and like all of these kind of like self-help books, but it was very much on that spiritual plane.
I love those.
And then it kind of
Yeah.
just spiraled, and I realized that my life is so much better when I take that time for myself, and I am such a nicer person.
Yeah.
And I think my relationship has made me soften and given me that more gentle side, and that's come back again. But it's
Yeah.
definitely also been bound with meditation. And so it kind of went from like yoga and meditation, which is still kind of a constant within my life. And then I went
Yeah.
yeah, I've always heard about manifestation, and like my uncle did like does miracle mornings. So that's kind of been, and
Okay.
so I've always really known about that. And then one of my childhood best friends, she kind of was on this journey for a while, and she made me do a miracle morning one day, and I had to sit down, like get up at like 5 a.m. and write like
What is a
you
miracle
basically start
morning?
like your morning with like 2 hours of meditation, journaling, reading.
Oh,
It's a book, and I think
okay.
it's what a lot of successful business people use.
I
So
bet.
I kind
Yeah.
of found my own version of that through the 6 phase meditation. A very famous tennis player, she put down her championship win to the 6 phase meditation, and then I kind of just flowed into that, just being on more of a spiritual journey. I spent a while in Sri Lanka where, I was just spending my entire time surfing and doing meditation and yoga and sound baths. Oh God, I cannot recommend
Oh,
sound
that
baths
sounds
more.
incredible.
We're going to India in 3 weeks, and I am ready to dive in to just complete woo woo and just complete yogi, all of that stuff. I can't wait. So, and then I think it was kind of like my algorithm had kind of picked up on the fact that I was,
That'll be
yeah, within like
amazing.
yeah, I just saw this affirmation come up, and it's universe. I am open and ready for you to start conspiring in my favor to make my dreams come true. I request a clear sign to come to me in my reality today. I'm open. I am ready. Thank you. And I started with that. I had to write that down.
Wow.
And then
Yeah.
it kind of just built on from there. So now I add in like, show me how good it can be. I am grateful. And that's kind of like one portion where I'm talking to the universe. And then I have another one where I'm talking to myself. And it's, I have endless opportunity, resource, favor, and creative ideas, and the wisdom, discernment, and discipline to not only maintain it, but to make it flourish. I have, yeah,
Wow.
yeah, and I like,
That's pretty
and these are things that
powerful.
I see on social media, and if I relate to them, I'll write them down and I'll add it to my list. I now have like 5 chunks that I'll go through every single morning, and some are talking to myself, some are talking to the
Wow.
universe, some are talking from a space of I am in a different area of the future and I am reflecting, and I already have these things
Mhm.
and I've already achieved these and those
Yeah.
feelings that brings up in me. So yeah, like, and I actually, sorry, when I like did a story of like when Billie Eilish's mom started following me. And it was like, because it was just going crazy, right? And like, I was just getting like maybe like 2,000 followers a day. Like, it was mental. And then, so I just had to put on my Instagram story, like, I'm actually putting this down to affirmations. And I told my followers these affirmations. And people came back to me like, using these, like, thank you so much for, showing us this and whatever. And like, if you don't believe in it, you don't believe in it. But it's worth a try.
Right.
Yeah. Like, it's
Doesn't
worth a try.
hurt.
So.
Yeah. Like you genuinely don't
Literally.
lose
You end up just
anything,
feeling better about
you
yourself,
know?
so why not? Yeah.
Wow. This
Yeah, sorry,
was an
we've spoken for
incredible
ages.
conversation to have with you. It's so genuine and so authentic. To wrap it up, what is one daily habit or shift that you think most artists or creators could make to leave a more positive impact on the planet?
Be more intentional. Be more intentional with what you're doing. Have knowledge of what you're using. I have a friend, sorry, this is going to go on a bit of a tangent, but I have a friend who's an oil painter, and she's in her 50s now, and she's just recovered from lung cancer. And that was due to the chemicals in her being an oil painter. Know what you're using. If you're an oil painter, paint in a well ventilated area. Don't use terps. There's so many other things that you can do, and just understand what you're using and the impact that is having on your own body and your own mental health. When you start looking after yourself, everything else will fall into place.
Is you just keep saying these beautiful things one after the other. So, what do you think or what do you hope people feel when they experience your work?
Same.
I love that. And where can listeners find you and learn more about your course
So
beyond
my course
Instagram?
is through Kajabi, but there is a link which will it's on my Instagram and it's on my website. Website is www.izvaughanart.com, and then obviously TikTok as well. The links are all there, and you click on that link and it tells you everything, all the courses, like all the modules of the course, the lessons, what you can expect. And yeah, it's really, don't think of it as, I'm just trying to like take your money. Like, I don't ever want it to feel that way. I want it to feel like this is something that's going to help you. And there's a guarantee if you don't make a sale within the first 30 days of completing the course, you get a free one-on-one feedback session with me. So we're able to bounce ideas off of each other. And yeah, I
Oh,
just want everyone to succeed. And I think that's the most thing that, like, mostly I want people to take from this course is that it's coming from a place of let's
yeah.
build a community here. Yeah.
Well, and I will also link all of the tags of her accounts and handles onto the space
Yeah.
wherever we do it now. But is it was such an incredible journey having you on today. I cannot believe I got to have an individual all the way from Australia onto my podcast. So that was amazing. And if you guys haven't followed her or seen any of her content, please, please, please go check her out because it's incredible what she's doing. It's so real and authentic, and it makes you feel something when you see it. So please go make your day and go check her out.
Thank you so
We'll
much for
see you
having
next
me.
month.